What is immersion in language learning? I just go with this question. Or maybe it's not a question, maybe it's just a comment. I do find it strange how the term immersion has been co-opted to mean watching a movie in another language or listening to music for a bit. That seems more like dipping in your toes in the pool rather than immersion. That being said, I don't think that getting listening practice is a waste of time. I just dislike the terminology. No, listening practice is not a waste of time. Um, Hoping, and I use hoping deliberately because it's wishful thinking. Hoping to learn by immersion is a waste of time in the sense that it will take you infinitely more time to learn than if you did it with deliberate practice. Immersion, or the original immersion, is living somewhere where you only can use the language. Yeah, you only hear the language, you work in the language, you all your social interactions are in the language, everything is in the target language, and you learn really fast because you have to. Yeah, because otherwise you can't communicate. That's immersion. 99% of people can't do. I've never done that. I lived mostly in German. First time I moved there, but even then, when I went back home after working, and really struggling at work because it was very difficult because I was terrible at being a waiter and then also terrible at German back then. When I got back to my apartment, I was like, I don't want to listen more to more German. I mean, these days I would have done it, but then I was like, nah, I just want to like switch off and do something, watch something. Uh, yeah, I don't want to be studying after 10 hours of work, of just struggling in German. So very few people can actually do just target language all day, all the time. Um, all the old Japanese all the time, Matt versus Japan, those people do it. At least that's what they say. That's what they say they do. I don't know how much. Maybe most of them try but don't really achieve it. It's very hard to live in the language. If you work in your native language or online in English, you can't do immersion because work is most of your day, apart from the time you're sleeping, you spend it working or online. So if you are, yeah, if social media is in English, your entertainment's Netflix, YouTube, whatever is in English or mostly in English. Even if you do that, the entertainment part in the target language, you're spending 12 hours or more in English with work and then socializing, keeping in touch with friends, etc. It's impossible to do immersion unless you want to live like a monk or something and move there completely, like stay away from friends and family and the news and everything for a month or something like that. Yeah, then you can do immersion, but that's the only type of immersion. And what the comment here is saying of, yeah, the term immersion now ends up, people use it to talk about watching films and listening to music. For, yeah, people just like listen to a podcast at home or music and watch some Netflix in the language. That's input, but it's not immersion. Immersion would be doing that at home, and then you work. Your working hours are also in the language, and your social life is in the language, and everything. That's immersion. And obviously, living in the country, moving to the country, is not immersion either. You're using English because you're doing all that stuff online. At least most people, in my experience. I don't know anyone. I guess if they were doing that, they wouldn't need my services, right? But most of my clients are Americans, Brits living either in Spain or in South America, Latin America, Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, etc. Most of them work online because you make American dollars and you spend in pesos, right? So that's really good. It's great. Yeah, it's great in terms of cost of living. It's great, but it's not immersion. Yeah, so don't call immersion. Don't call something that is no immersion immersion. Uh, that doesn't mean that you can't learn. If you're watching this and you're a passport bro, an expat, or whatever you are, uh, living in whatever place you're living, you can learn the language. You don't need immersion. You need an hour a day maximum. Obviously, 3 hours a day would be better. And immersion, full immersion would be better. But again, you need to make a living, right? But an hour a day, if you do the right stuff, memorize vocab, retrieval practice, and then some listening here and there, it's enough. Just do the right things. Yeah, you don't need immersion or any magic thing. You just do the do do the work, like the hard work that's effective and time efficient. Yeah, so you can get on with your life.